Back in my day, we used to have fun by going to a barn dance. Watched picture movies on the big screen and paid about 5 cents. 2 cents extra if you wanted popcorn. I went digging through some of my ancient collections and dug up what survived the recessions and hard times. Used to have about 3 or 4 bookshelves worth of these bad boys, and I'm down to 2 little stacks. Sad, sad, sad. But these are my horror movies on VHS. VHS stood for Video Hyperspace. It was launched by JVC in 1976. Does anybody remember that far back? They had the players that were like as big as dressers and made of wood. I'm not kidding, they were made of wood, and they had the little channel changers on them too. I remember top loaders. Horrible things. Anyways, this will be a short presentation because it's a short list of videos I got. First off, Frailty. Paid $4.99. Previewed at Blockbuster. Now you can get a brand new DVD for $3. Sign of the times, I guess. Forsaken. Be wary of vampire movies that boast terrifying and that it's the sexiest vampire movie since The Lost Boys. Yeah, okay. Not one of my favorite vampire movies, but it was alright. Still better than Twilight. Picked this one up from a place I used to work at. Creature from Black Lake. I picked this up back in 95, 96. Creature from Black Lake. Rated PG. They made PG movies way back then too. Here's a classic. Maniac. Yeah, this is the new case. The original case had the poster art on it. I picked this up, I think, at Kmart for like $9.99, brand new. Still a great movie. Speaking of cool vampire movies, who here doesn't love The Hunger? David Bowie, Susan Sarandon, big old natural Sarandon. You know what I'm saying? $6.99 previewed. Yep, I bought them used because that's what I could afford. Now, for some reason, I can't afford new DVDs for half the money. It's the economy, I tell you. It's terrible. Idle Hands. This movie was a lot of fun. I did like it. A little goofy, a little silly. Seth Green is always cool. Yeah, Idle Hands. A possessed hand that gets chopped off and causes a lot of mayhem, and he winds up killing 2 of his friends, and they come back to life, and it's pretty cool. I mean, you have to see it to really get into it if you haven't seen it already. Funny Games, original German language. This was a crazy movie. When I first saw it, I thought this was just wild, and then they remade it years later. They kind of kept the spirit of it, but I figure if it's going to be a note-for-note rendition of the original, just watch the original and stop being so afraid of subtitles. The Kiss. I picked this one up. I believe I picked it up at the first video store that I worked at. And when I say picked up, I do mean I bought it. Okay, I didn't rip them off. But yeah, this is The Kiss. Haven't even watched this one yet, I don't think. Still have to view it. It looks good though. Check out some of the stuff on the back there. Something about a family curse. I thought it was about vampires when I first saw it. Halloween 3. You either like it or you don't, like I always say. I think this movie was doomed just because of the title. Everybody expected it to be a strict sequel of Halloween 1 and 2, and it wasn't, of course. but for what it was, I thought this was a great movie. I wish they would have named it something else. It's called Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. If they would have just called it Season of the Witch, it would have gone over like hotcakes. The Reflecting Skin. This is an odd movie, but a very cool movie, to say the least. This movie is just very... It reminds me a lot of like David Lynch. Some of David Lynch's stuff, but not as bizarre. There's kids being killed. This kid thinks that a lady that lives in his neighborhood is a vampire. She starts wooing his brother, and he feels he's going to become her next victim. It's just a lot. It's not a vampire story, though. I don't want you to think that it is. I saw it once, and I thought it was great, and I just went out and picked it up. Previewed, $6.99. What a find for me. Child's Play. I don't think any collection is really complete without a copy of Child's Play on VHS or otherwise. Hell, if you got Laserdisc, go for it. Chucky, the doll. In fact, friends of mine in Chicago nicknamed me Chucky because I used to have my hair like that. I had long hair. Long hair on a white kid. I automatically became the Chucky doll to everybody. First Power, this was like, I think one of the first horror movies me and my wife agreed on when I first met her. She said she loved this movie. I like this movie. That's how bonds are made. You like a movie and you watch it together and comment on it. First Power. Back when Lou Diamond Phillips was still making really good movies, he still makes a couple of decent B-grade movies, so I don't want to knock them in completely. Nature of the Beast. This was when I first saw it, I thought it was a really neat mystery kind of serial killer movie. Had a few cool twists in it, but quite honestly a little predictable, but still very, very cool. I picked this one up just because. I think it was like just because it was $2.99, and that was very cheap back then. Horror Express. Telly Savalas, Peter Cushing, very neat black and white horror movie. I think you can get this for free at one of the archive websites for public domain movies, but I have it on VHS. Ta-da! Rosemary's Baby. Gotta love Rosemary's Baby, man. Come on. Who here doesn't love Rosemary's Baby? Right up there with movies like The Exorcist. A lot of people say that they like the movie because it didn't depict Satan as anyone bad. He just had a kid. He wouldn't hurt anyone. But those are usually Satanists that say things like that. So I don't know. But Rosemary's Baby, excellent movie. And this one is a cult classic, and I don't know if you would call it exploitation. To me, it's a musical. Little tinge of horror, but I'm including it anyway. And it is 25th anniversary of the Rocky Horror Picture Show on VHS, man. So maybe it's not as cool as I think. Maybe it's not as cool as I think it is, but I think it's pretty hip to have something like this. So think of how things have changed and how time has gone. Now we have movies on stuff like this. A UMD. Look at that. You hold a whole movie on that. That's Saw right there. From that to this. So this crotchety old man's going to sign off and play one of these newfangled video games I saved up my pennies for. Look. Ooh. I wonder how it will play. Hope it doesn't frighten me.